welcome to Wow. Alright. Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, let's take a look at every Premier League club and the weirdest transfer that you have made this summer. Arsenal, David Luiz. Imagine being David Luiz. You've dedicated numerous seasons of your life to Chelsea. Now suddenly you're downing tools, refusing to train and trying to force through a move to Arsenal? I'm sorry, what? That's like walking out on your wife of 7 years in favour of her dopey half-sister who, let's be honest, looks like she was hit by a bus. For Arsenal, yes, you might say that Luiz is a footballer who plays like his brain is made of wet yogurt, but for £8 million for an aspiring top 4 club, that is essentially like change found down the back of the couch. And for all of you that say he wouldn't be able to clear his goddamn internet history, never mind a ball, I'm sorry, he's won 4 league titles, 2 FA Cups, a Champions League, 2 Europa Leagues. What have you done? Toss yourself off 6 times before lunch? Gotta push those numbers up, those are rookie numbers in this racket. Aston Villa, Jota. Well, Jota's probably going to have his car punctured with broken glass. He does realise that moving from Birmingham City to Aston Villa means the man is probably going to have to invest probably a set of bars for his windows, you know, to keep out the bricks. I mean, the transfer does make sense on paper in the sense that Dean Smith worked with him at Brentford, but Christ above, lads, if Birmingham fans are punching Jack Grealish in the head simply for having a dodgy haircut, then they're going to use this lad as a f***ing pinata. Bournemouth, Arnaut Danjuma. Alright, go on then, raise your hands. Who saw Bournemouth splashing nearly 14 million quid on Dutch winger Arnaut Danjuma from Club Brugge? I'm guessing, like me, most of you didn't even know his goddamn name. Let's see if he's any good. Brighton, Aaron Moy. Alright, Aaron Moy is Huddersfield's best player. The fans idolise him, worship him, would probably drink his bathwater if they could. So why is the club letting him leave for Brighton on loan? Look at Crystal Palace. I mean, that is how you keep hold of your player. Continuously ignore him until September. Just giving him away for a year without even getting a transfer fee. Like, what was the point of that? So off he goes to Brighton looking like a melted peanut. Burnley, Danny Drinkwater. I mean, to be honest, I forgot this man even existed. I just assumed he'd suffocated in that box underneath the stairs at Stamford Bridge, where they keep the rest of the lads who've traded ambition for finance. I mean, on paper, the signing of a former Premier League champion and England's international should be a great loan signing for Burnley. After all, this is a man who once cost 35 million. How? I mean, I have no idea. Maybe the board of directors of Chelsea were huffing glue that day, But Drinkwater, I mean, you've got to remember, this is a bit like getting behind the wheel of a car after 2 years of just refusing to drive. More often than not, you're going to end up steering into a lamppost, or in the case of my mother, a family of 5. Poor Drinkwater probably can't even remember how to play the goddamn game. He'll get the ball in the middle of the pitch and probably try to fucking eat it. Chelsea, Mateo Kovacic. Well, this was weird, purely because I thought Chelsea had a transfer ban slapped upon them. So how are they going out and signing lads for 40 million quid? You're either bent or you're not. It's like saying you're lactose intolerant and then still choosing to inhale a block of cheese. Crystal Palace, James McCarthy. Well, not much happened at Crystal Palace this transfer window other than Wilfred Zaha having his spirit crushed on deadline day. But yeah, something did happen on the transfer front.
Yeah!
What the hell was that? Clearly, the lads behind Crystal Palace's social media are having some sort of midlife breakdown because there can be no logical explanation for that. I mean, the signing itself isn't particularly weird, but that video, Jesus Christ, burn it alive. Everton, Alex Iwobi. I mean, this was odd because it just came from nowhere. Everton had spent the last 3 weeks pestering Crystal Palace with bids for Wilfred Zaha, having done the same thing with Yannick Bolasie 3 years ago. Now suddenly, here they were chucking 35 million quid at Arsenal for Alex Iwobi. That club has given Arsenal nearly 70 million quid for the twin evils that are Iwobi and Theo Walcott. 2 lads who have about as much end product as my broken fridge. Soon they'll be giving them 50 quid for one of Unai Emery's dirty socks. Leicester City, Ioti Perez. Ioti Perez is a lad who's been pining to leave Newcastle for quite some time, but to return to Spain. He's always been about going back to Spain. Look, I'm not blaming him for swapping Newcastle for Leicester, especially since under Mike Ashley, St James's Park has turned into some sort of modern Victorian freak show. But still, it was a move that came a bit out of the blue, and especially for 30 million quid. Liverpool, Harvey Elliott. Yeah, it's come to the point where Liverpool are signing lads born in 2003. Lads, I'm pretty sure I've had a yogurt in the fridge since 2003. Charlie Adam probably hasn't had a wash since 2003. Joey Barton definitely hasn't had a hug since 2003. How is this lad signing for the champions of Europe Europe at the age of 16. When I was 16, I was spending most nights in a bush, drinking 6 tins of Fosters out of a goddamn straw. Imagine paying 9 million quid for a 16-year-old who clearly spends every day living with a dead pigeon stapled to his head. Christ above, that's madness. Man City, Scott Carson. Oh, Scott Carson, really? See, I can understand Rob Green trading the benches of championship clubs for Chelsea, you know, in the final year of his career. But Carson, you're 33 years old and you have to just sit in the stands at Man City to be a paid spectator. Man United, Daniel James. Daniel James to Manchester United. Yeah, he'll probably turn out to be a good player in fairness, but it was just a bit of a one that came out of the blue, wasn't it? Arriving from Swansea City for 15 million quid. I really didn't see this transfer coming. Then again, lads, if you'd spunked 50 million quid on Sean Longstaff, that would be a clear winner. Newcastle, Joe Linton. Now you might have said Andy Carroll to Newcastle was a weird one, except it's not, because it's a transfer that's been touted every transfer window for the last 8 years. No, let's say 40 million quid for Joe Linton. Purely because it was a bit strange that Mike Ashley only found the cash 2 weeks after Rafa Benitez had left the club. Strange one, that. Norwich City, Rocky Bushiri. Of all the footballers on planet Earth to invest time and money into, what in a pig's left ear possessed them to fork out for teenage Belgian centre-back Rocky Bushiri from KV Oostende? Yeah, he might turn out a good player. He also might turn out a big bag of cat sick. Sheffield United, Ravel Morrison. Why? Just why? Have you not learned from the entirety of this man's career? Ravel Morrison's talent has never been in question, but his attitude. There's a reason he's been playing at the back arse of nowhere for the last 5 years. He's been binned off about 6 or 7 teams and he's only 26. Does that not tell you something, lads? Southampton, Moussa Djenepo. Okay, I admit it, I've never heard of Moussa Djenepo, alright? I'm sorry, I'm sure he's a lovely lad. 21-year-old Malian winger. Undisclosed fee. Look, it's not that weird a signing, but I mean, Che Adams and Danny Ings were the most bone-dry, run-of-the-mill transfers you could have, so I'm gonna have to go for this one. Tottenham, Ryan Sessegnon. Alright, so we've seen English transfer fees are insane right now. 80 million for Harry Maguire? Why don't you just feed your credit card to your fucking cat? So Ryan Sessegnon, one of the hottest properties in England, has been touted for 40, 50, 60 million moves lately. And so Spurs eventually get shook down on the final day for just 25 million. Fulham, what are you playing at? How they got him for just 25 million quid is about as confusing as Floyd Mayweather doing a crossword puzzle. Honestly, that wouldn't even get you Harry Maguire's left leg. And this is a 19-year-old Englishman with 120 first team appearances in English football. In this market, 25 million quid is an absolute pittance. You wouldn't tip the pizza man that much for giving you extra anchovies. Watford, Danny Welbeck. Don't get me wrong, Danny Welbeck on a free transfer is a decent signing, provided he doesn't fall apart as soon as they open the box. But it just seems weird. I mean, Danny Welbeck at Watford at 28 years of age. I don't know, 10 years ago, this kid was supposed to be the golden boy of Old Trafford, the future of English football, the next homegrown talent. Do you see where I'm going with this? Now the original Marcus Rashford is spending his prime years sitting on the bench behind Troy Deeney, a lad who, while he was breaking through at Old Trafford, was working as a bricklayer pissed off his tits. West Ham, David Martin. David Martin, I hope you realise what you've just done by trading Millwall for West Ham. Did you not watch Green Street? Actually, considering how rarely he plays, I don't think anyone's going to be bothered. I know he's only going to be a third choice keeper, but still, it's a bit odd to see him back in the Premier League. This will be his 6th season in the Premier League, and he has played as many top flight minutes as a piece of mouldy bread. Wolves, Patrick Cutrone. Another great signing for Wolves, signing up AC Milan striker Patrick Cutrone. But I still can't get my head around this. Are we really living in a world where Wolves are a more attractive proposition than 5-time champions of Europe AC Milan? Cutrone also spent the last 12 years of his life coming through the ranks at the San Siro. He's a boyhood AC Milan fan. He would have grown up celebrating those European triumphs and probably trying to drown himself in a bath after Istanbul. And yet Milan still weren't able to stop him from going to Wolves. Imagine someone telling you 10 years ago that Wolves would end up being more attractive than them. It's like that saying that old woman who sleeps outside the train station and drinks 4 gallons of petrol a day is gonna one day be hotter than Margot Robbie. What? Alright, that's the end of the video, lads. A quick roundup. What do you think your weirdest signing was? I'm gonna do a few more roundup transfer videos from the window. Let me know what sort of ones you want to see. And yeah, that was pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Twitter and Instagram is there. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.